Okay, welcome everybody to the Acronis Cyber Cloud Reseller Solution training and demo. I'm very excited to present that new solution for you on the marketplace. This is on the US marketplace at this point. We will go global with that solution later on in Q1, Q2 next year. This solution essentially brings the full Acronis portfolio to the marketplace versus the current limited backup-only solution that exists today on the marketplace. If you look on the backup and disaster recovery section on the marketplace, you will see that we have the current solution, which is the Cap Storage Office 365 pay-as-you-go for end customer subscriptions, as well as the volume pricing that is being used for the reseller tier subscriptions. What we've done with the Acronis Reseller Solution, which is here, and the difference is just it's called Acronis Cyber Cloud versus Acronis Backup Cloud. This one, the volume pricing will go behind the IP wall, so it will not be visible anymore from a day or two from now. The only solution that will have a tier pricing will be the Reseller Solution. Going into the Reseller Solution, we have two types of business models. One is the per gigabyte, and the other one is the per device, which was not supported before on the APS2 package. This solution is based on the Connect solution, Connect platform, and it's basically covering all the portfolio or enabling accessing for reseller to all the portfolios from Acronis. This is a reseller-only solution. It's not available for end customer to purchase, and resellers will be able to place orders separately for per gigabyte business model and per device business model. Here, when we get into the main page, you can see all the information about the different categories that may be changed in the future based on Acronis marketing collateral. On this tab, you have the per gigabyte, which basically provide an access to the pricing structure for the per gigabyte pricing model. That give the reseller a way to review the actual SKUs for each of the products from Acronis, as well as the pricing per tier. Pay-as-you-go is the non-commitment tier. This was added to serve if somebody doesn't want to be under a commitment level. Then we have the same commitment level that exists today in traditional. So this solution essentially imitating the traditional business almost one-to-one. That also including some of the business tools that exist today on the traditional side, like the 30 days trial, which is configured on the Acronis side. I will explain it how it's configured when we look on the services. 3 months ramp up configured on the Acronis side. The minimum commitment and the pricing per pricing model. So this example is for the per gigabyte. If I'm going back, looking on the per device, you have same file that showcasing the pricing per the gigabyte solution for the different products on the Acronis side. And this solution is intended to be 12 months commitment. However, on Odin platform, there is no way to enforce that commitment, but it is structured as such to when the platform will support it in the future. So these are the part of the business rules that exist today in the traditional business. And let me go back here. And also here we have resources which provide the data sheet and visual guides and documentation for all the different products from Acronis. And again, this may change, or if you think any additional information is required, let me know and we can add it to the resources page. Once a reseller accesses this page and wants to order one of the solutions per gigabyte or per device, he just needs to click on the button and that will take him to the dedicated UX1 page where they can order the service from the various services that we have. Here we go. Taking a little bit time to load. Okay. Under the UX1, as you probably know, there is a limitation to show the plan and prices only for the 3 services, and they cannot be rearranged or ordered per requirement. So let's go directly to the see more. Actually, this view that shows us all the available services. So what you see here is that we have 5 services per each of the business models. This is specifically the per gigabyte pricing model. It is exactly the same for the per device pricing model. Here we have 5 services. Service 1 is the no commitment. The second service is tier 1. Nick, can you please mute your phone? And Craig? Thank you. So this, for the tier 1 pricing, we have a 30 days trial built into this service. So if a new reseller comes on board and wants to get a trial, the trial built in only to the tier 1 service plan, only for 30 days trial, and then it automatically moves into a paid subscription, which means that in that time, the business rules kicks in for the 3-month ramp up and so forth. Here we have again, they are not organized due to limitation of the platform, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 service plans. Most likely that most of the reseller will join the service in the tier 1 or the highest at the tier 2 at this point. As you can see from the files, there is a price difference, which is pretty significant from a no commitment to a tier 1 and to tier 2 and so forth. But also the commitment level per month is going higher and higher as you move based on the tiers. For $250 US, it's about 1.3 terabytes. When you go to the tier 2, it's already passing the 6.5, about 6.5 terabytes. So it has to be high volume from that reseller in order to gain a better pricing. And this is the incentive to push them to use a higher tier with higher commitment as they go their business. Okay, so let's just place an order, for example. So I'm just clicking add to cart. Here, go to the cart. And here you can see that it's a zero pay because all the services are pay as you go. We only create a subscription or actually an account from here on Acronis side, on Acronis platform. Once we create the account, then the reseller will gain access with credential to activate his account on Acronis portal. And then I will hand off this demo for Acronis to explain how they start working with Acronis portal at this time. I will click next. Here we have to add admin login name. It has to be a unique login name on Acronis portal. And there is a way that the system, the processor currently check if there is already existing Acronis admin login name on existing on Acronis portal. If it exists, it will ask you to change the login name to something unique. So let's just give it something unique. Call it a training test. We'll move it forward. Here you have to accept the Acronis terms and condition. Because I already done some UAT testing, this is a staging environment. It doesn't ask me to approve the Ingram Micro terms and condition as well. But the first time that the reseller will go in and order one of the services, it will show the Ingram Micro as well as the Acronis one to be accepted. So I agree to the terms and I purchase the solution. here I already have a per device service that I try to disable. The fact is that with this solution, we are using a feature that's called delay cancellation, which means that once a reseller decides to cancel the service, he will, it basically the system submit a suspend order to Acronis. Acronis at that time accept the cancellation and do stop billing at the end of the calendar month of that specific month. And then after 65 days, and that number is in order to cover all corner cases, another cancellation order will be sent from our system, from Modins to Acronis, to destroy the service. The reason that we have 65 days is basically because Acronis will have to upload on a monthly basis the usage report for the existing billing cycle, and that will be pushed by Acronis to the usage module on the vendor portal and be processed by the Connect system and then by the Odin automation on Cloud Blue to invoice the resellers. So 65 days was generated in order to make sure that once there is a cancellation request, we account for the latest and final usage for that billing cycle, and that everything is being properly handled in the system before we destroy the service. So the order was placed. And as you can see, the per gigabyte from today, December 17, was placed and enabled. Once a service is processed and enabled on Acronis side, the reseller will receive an activation email. Something like that. Do you see my screen with the activation email?
Yeah, we see it. Where is that email going to?
The email will go to the reseller account.
Who? The sales rep placing the order, or the admin user, or the technical, or the technical?
That will go to the reseller email account.
Right, but there can be three. So which reseller email account, right? So you have your users that are going in and placing the order, and then you have
no, you don't have users because it's only a reseller solution. There is no end customer.
Right. I understand that, but even our reseller accounts have an account profile. They have a billing contact, an admin contact, and a technical contact. Which contact does that go to?
That's a good question. At this point, I can't really tell you. It goes for, like you see in this one, it goes to the offer reseller US, which is my Ingram Micro account. Mm-hmm. I assume it will go to it really depends what was mentioned in the creation of the account. For me, I created both with the same email address. So
right, yeah. So for this test account, right, it's going to be your contact is all the same. But some of our partners have an admin contact, a billing contact, and a technical contact.
Right.
I would assume it's either going to go to the admin or the technical contact, but
that's most likely. But I will have
need to know.
Yeah, I will have to check about it.
Okay. Thank you.
We just write it down. Okay, good question. So once the email is being sent to the reseller account, there is the activation email, and from here I can click on the activate account. That will ask me to generate a specific password. Have to meet a specific criteria like you see here. Give me just 1 second. I will put something that I can guarantee it works. And then we create the account. On the legal terms, You have to accept all the legal terms. And voila, the reseller of a reseller US gain access to Acronis portal. And now, at this time, you can start consuming any of the services of the Acronis portfolio. Okay. So far, any questions about the workflow, the experience, the business rules, the methodology that's being used to deploy this solution?
Yeah, just clarification. You said cancellation requests. Did you say they take between 6 to 5 days or 65 days?
65 days. And the reason for that is that we need to wait to cover all corner cases when the last usage report will be submitted for the previous billing cycle, and that will be processed in the system. As such, we need this amount of days to process before we can destroy the subscription itself on our side.
Okay.
So, for example, if you look here, this is a good example. I tried to cancel after we went live the per device tier 1 pricing that I subscribed to. That was on December 4. So it shows only as disabled, but it's not completely destroyed. And when I try to do it on the vendor from a provider side to approve it, it will have to be processed after 65 days only. Okay, so that will basically, if I created the cancellation order on December 4th, that means that the final bill for December will be submitted in January, then processed as such. So from December 4, there is until the service is invoiced to the reseller, there is a gap that requires to be fulfilled by the usage report at a certain point. So it varied between, after calculating all the corner cases, we reached a number which is 65 days to make sure that we cover all bases with that.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. And after 65 days, the system will automatically initiate a cancellation order, which will then destroy this subscription on Odin side after everything is said and done from a Acronis side as well, from the usage perspective. Okay. Any questions from anyone? So I guess that everyone understands how the minimum commitment works on the traditional side. This same exact behavior is being replicated here on the cloud marketplace. Let me touch a little bit about that. So basically at the end of the billing cycle, we're looking on the overall consumption. And that consumption is the pure consumption that generated by Acronis platform. After Acronis calculates the consumption based on the dollar values, Acronis also generates the aggregate per gigabyte and the aggregate per device SKUs and send it as a usage as part of the usage report and plug it to the vendor portal. And this is how we process the fact that there is a minimum commitment attached to the specific tier 1 to tier 4 reseller services. Okay. This type of solution is intermittent for the time being, because we are working to add this BSS functionality into Ingram Micro BSS as part of the Odin and Cloud Blue platforms. This is target for around Q2 of next year, and is currently in process. But for now, for the time being, we will do that based on Acronis rating of the data that will be sent as part of the usage report. Any additional questions at this point? Perfect. One more thing to remind you, like I said at the beginning, this solution will essentially, the current solution will essentially be behind IP wall from another day or two, which means that moving forward, a reseller can still use the backup cloud for end customer, but will not be able to subscribe to a tier pricing. The only tier pricing that will be supported will be as part of the reseller solution. We are going to migrate the current resellers from the volume pricing to this reseller solution in the next while. And once we do that, this reseller will only be supported on the Acronis Cyber Cloud. One thing to mention is that in order to replace these three categories here, which are end customer solution, we are working with Acronis on an end customer connect package, which Acronis is going to build and maintain. And we are planning to release it sometime in Q1. The sooner the better, obviously. But this will replace also the end customer subscription on the Connect platform.
Hey, for when we migrate the existing volume pricing over to the Cyber Cloud, will they be required to set up a new portal, or will they still be able to use the same login credentials they created when they set up their volume pricing?
Okay, great question, Michael. So these, and Alexei, you can join in, correct me if I'm wrong. The current solution that you see here with the backup cloud, it was based on the APS2 package created and maintained by Acronis. The new Cyber Cloud solution is created and maintained by Ingram Micro on Connect platform. And on Acronis side, the APS2 data center or locations where the information will be used for that solution, these are different pointers on the data centers. That's why I believe that this will be different and separate credentials that will have to be accessed. But once accessed, all the information after the migration will be there for that reseller that's been migrated from the APS2 to the Connect package. Acronis, Alexei, do you want to add anything?
I can just confirm that it is possible to migrate to reseller without having to recreate reseller's data.
Yeah, but the credentials, do they have to create a new credentials to access that account after?
I'd better take this question to offline.
Okay.
We can take it into account while designing the migration procedure.
Okay, sounds good. Any additional questions from anyone? If not, do we have Nikolai? I can see that Nikolai is online.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Nikolai.
Hi.
From this point, I will let you grab the ball and start with the full Acronis portal demo of how to use the services, the full services, how to add users, use reports, do whatever setting requires, download agent, and so forth. So,
okay.
Let's stop share.
Yeah, if you can stop sharing your screen, I'll be able to share mine.
Okay.
And just give me a moment. So that's the, if you can confirm that you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah. So back to the step when Offer was creating an account, and I believe it was called training test or something, right? You activated that account by receiving that activation email. Then you are pointed to this page when you set up the password. So Offer showed you that. And at the next step, you just log in with that new account. Well, in my case, it looks slightly different, but it's the same type of account. And you get access to this central console that allows you to manage all the customers, generate reports, enable services, choose additions, add storages, everything, right? So that's the console. I already have a few customers here. Of course, you start with an empty list of customers, but you are the boss here, right? So you can use an unlimited number of customers, unlimited number of storages. Typically, people just add a single storage and then assign it to customers. You obviously can use Acronis storage in the Acronis data center. And so let's start with creating a customer, right? So you go here. Again, unlike the traditional marketplace subscriptions, we don't limit you in the number of customers. You just have that single account that you created, as Offer showed you, to manage everyone. And so you are creating some customer. You select the mode. So I typically, when I present the solution to service provider, I remind them that they can choose between trial and production mode, and trial will mean 1 month of free usage for that particular customer. And so Ingram will not be charging that customer, and obviously Acronis will not be charging. Acronis will not be charging the provider, and the provider doesn't need to charge the customer. So at the next stage, there are services, okay? And first of all, these are the additions, the available additions. Everything is enabled in that account. So on a per customer basis, the reseller, the service provider, can select which edition to be used by that particular customer. Typically, it's going to be standard edition. So standard covers everything that providers are used to. So backing up all those environments, virtual machines, physical machines, recoveries, bare metal, everything. But we introduced these new features for support of clusters of Exchange servers and SQL servers, supporting Oracle and SAP HANA, and some more ways of central management of backup plans. If a particular customer needs that, you turn on Advanced Edition for them. I mean, you as a reseller. And finally, the Disaster Recovery Edition allows running any backup as a virtual machine straight in the Acronis data center. And if you need that, you switch to the Disaster Recovery Edition. I'll focus on the backup at the moment, but there are more features. Filesync can share the essentially Dropbox or OneDrive from Acronis, right? You have a Filesync and share solution, and you as reseller can differentiate yourself by offering storage, so by ensuring that the customer's data is stored on the service provider's premises or in the Acronis data center with a well-defined address, and it never leaves its intended geography. Quite an essential tool to address the legal compliance requests and so on. Physical data shipping, it allows you as a reseller or a particular customer send the initial volume of data straight to the Acronis data center. And so Acronis uploads the data for the customer. And of course, the subsequent backups are just incremental, taking presumably much less time than the initial backup. And finally, Notary, the notarization service based on a public blockchain that we use. So this is popular among not even among legal firms. I think we had a partner who deals with dental companies. So any document that needs to be notarized, and you need to make sure about the authenticity of the copy, you can offer this notarization service as well. So you select all or some of those services. Again, it's pay per use, so I keep telling the resellers, don't be afraid to select everything, because you will only be charged for what you actually use, right? And finally, when creating that customer, the reseller sets up the quotas or a particular set of devices that will be protected, right? Again, most of our partners are told to keep everything enabled, again, because it's pay-per-use, right? As part of this offering to partners, I keep emphasizing that it's the word cloud in the offering, in the service name, in an item on the marketplace. It doesn't actually mean that it's everything about cloud. It also means that we support traditional backup, traditional local backup. And so when offering that to partners, you need to emphasize that, you know, it's a typical rule to have one copy on site and then get another one to the cloud. Or if they are concerned about the cloud, they can use this product only for local copies if they want, and just use the cloud console for easy management of large number of customers. So that's a service for everyone, not only for someone who needs to use the cloud. Yeah, questions? I see someone on mute. Questions so far? Okay. And the final step when creating that customer is creating a login. So think of this portal as being provided in two flavors. So one flavor is for managed service providers, for the MSPs, who obviously set up backups. They manage everything on behalf of their clients, on behalf of their customers, but also they can provide a self-service. So they can customize this portal to for the end users to log in under the same account with this name and manage the backups. For that, you as a reseller have access to the branding options. That all is turned on, and offer if something is turned off, just let me know. But as I understand, within this portal that you just described, everything is available, right? So
correct. It's pay as you go, and all the Acronis portfolio is available for the reseller to consume.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yes. Yeah. So if you are a provider and you're thinking about self-service, or just generally thinking about, you know, making this portal a natural part of your offerings, you customize the look and the logo. You select the color scheme that matches your website. You actually rename the service from Acronis. You can get rid of Acronis altogether. Just make it as if it were your own creation. Just customize the documentation links. Make sure that emails are coming from your email server. So that's very that's something that is widely used by the partners, obviously. And my favorite part, I worked with marketplace accounts as well from Ingram Marketplace. One of the favorite parts here is being able to use the storage. So you can start. So if you onboard someone, you can start with an Acronis storage and with your own cyber infrastructure, which can be used for backup. So this is how it looks. In fact, this is one of the ways to pitch it. This is the same piece of software that we use in our data centers across the world, right? And we just provide that free of charge to our partners for them to install them on any reasonable type of hardware they have. The point is that hardware doesn't need to be reliable, because the very nature of this software as a service solution makes sure that even if you lose a server, if you install this on multiple servers, and that's what we recommend, and you lose one of those servers or two of those servers, you still have access to the data. No data is lost. You can replace hard drives, you can replace servers in real time. So It really differentiates the service providers who value the reliability of the data. Yeah, and after that, any partner, after creating, let's say they're a managed service provider, they want to set up the service for their customers, manage everything. They use that single account that Offer created to manage any customer they have. They just go to manage service. They go to manage service. They see the devices they protect, and that's it. So everything is done remotely. Everything is done from the cloud. We are about protecting the data. So by default, it's the entire machine, the entire device being backed up to the cloud storage, and that can be an Acronis storage or the service provider storage, and keeping the backups like forever or for the amount of time you need. The schedule, it can be run every day. It can run every 10 minutes for critical servers. Again, up to the service provider, up to the end customer to decide. And something that makes us different and something that adds to the overall protection of the customer's data and workloads and data in general is, in addition to backups, we have active protection. So active protection means that on any server, whether or not you're actually backing it up from with Acronis, you can have Veeam installed, doesn't matter. So you install the Acronis agent just for the sake of protection against the most modern threats. And that is obviously ransomware, including so-called zero-day attacks. So some piece of ransomware that appeared a few hours ago in the world, and it uses that opportunity being unnoticed by the antivirus programs because it's not yet in the databases. It uses that opportunity to infect as many machines as possible. But we address that by implementing this active protection engine, which is free of charge, by the way. So the provider or the customer turns that on, and in real time, it keeps track of suspicious activity. As soon as it notices that some suspicious piece of ransomware tries to encrypt a file, and we use artificial intelligence to distinguish between legitimate programs like zip archives and the actual ransomware. As soon as it tries to modify the file, we block that ransomware and we revert to the recent version seconds before the attack. Even if you don't have a backup, we have a cache of recent changes. So it's real-time protection that saves lots of Bitcoins, hopefully, right? And again, it's a good addition to backup, but even if you don't use a backup for some reason on that machine, that's still a valuable tool to have, especially, and it's free of charge as well. So it's a frontline defense against suspicious programs because a piece of ransomware downloaded gets propagated through the network, and we specifically address that as well. We protect any resources that are attached to a customer's laptop or server, right? So that's about backup, right? A short overview. Any questions here? Okay, just let me know if.
Yeah, I have a question here. Sorry, I had to unmute myself.
Yeah, no problem.
Earlier here, you guys were talking about. In my experience, anytime we have a partner who's interested in failover, right, they also want to have an option to be able to on-site failover as well, not just to the cloud. Now I know in the past, certain deals I've worked with you guys, we've done the Acronis Storage Gateway. We've had their account manager to give them that Acronis Storage Gateway to accomplish that. Is there any way we could deploy anything just from their console to allow them to do that?
So in terms of real disaster recovery, it's still bound to our data center. So if I go, so the question is yes and no. So the no part is it's only in our data center, and obviously you spin up, you prepare any backup to be potentially run as a virtual machine. And once you have a disaster or you need to test the service, you spin it up here, and you have access through a VPN or through public IP address if you assign one, and obviously through the console, right? So I wonder if, so probably you saw that already, but still, you can use this console. That's my favorite way of ensuring that whatever you backed up can safely be run in our data center. So that's the good way of disaster recovery, and it's bound to the data center. Yeah, but if you need to provide some sort of disaster recovery, you can use run as VM, right? And so provided that you, as a customer or your managed service provider, have a virtual host, and it can be ESXi or VMware, you can select likewise just any backup. It can be physical, it can be virtual, and instead of recovery, you do bad choice. So probably like something like this. So instead of recovery, you do run as VM. You select the recovery point, presumably the latest one, and you select the host where that machine will be running. And there are two types of providers. So managed service providers sometimes give a dedicated host where they install the agent, and that host appears on the list, and they can select that host in their data center to spin up any cloud backup, right? By cloud, I mean the local storage in the service provider's premises.
Sure.
Right. So yeah, that's one way to run it. Right, but obviously that will require setting up the network manually, maybe attaching some network adapters, and so on. Right.
Sure.
But yeah, that's one of the ways to go. Okay.
Okay, but that'll be fully functioning. It's not read-only or anything like that.
It's not read-only. It's fully functional. In that recent release, we introduced finalization for Hyper-V, meaning that you run that VM for as long as you like, and I mean, as you are offering a replacement service or something, and then as soon as you run it, you can work with it right away. So the RPOs are minimal, but in the background, the data from the obviously slower cloud storage gets transferred to your fast data store that you specify here when setting up run as VM, and after a few hours, it runs without degradation of performance.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? All right. So something else we have, and again, everything is enabled. So it's file sync and share. So you actually see this here. File sync and share means file sync and share. So let's imagine I'm an end user who is logging in to the portal, doing this way. And yeah, by the way, you'll see the welcome screen offering you everything that my service provider made available to me, right? So, and this is file sync and share. So you'll see a very, maybe simplistic interface, but this is the core functionality of all sync and share products, with the emphasis on the reliability of the data and the fact that the location of the data is defined. So these are the files you work with. You create new files. You can share the files with someone else, write public links, or sharing only with a specific user. And then also within that customer, or perhaps this can be service provider, they determine the access policies, and they keep an audit log here. So if someone is an admin in this account, they can decide whether my users can use public links to share with the outside world. How long, what is the lifetime of those links? Whether to allow permanent deletion of the files. So, and so on and so on. And the second important thing is the audit log, where you see who did what in the account, right? So we'll load shortly. Just for legal compliance reasons, and for something that would require that detailed access. So I still think that it will show up for me. But essentially this is a very detailed information that you can download, export as a CSV. So yeah, someone downloaded a presentation about the product, right? Someone logged in, right? So all that is shown here. Any questions about Filesync and Share? Like maybe general observations. So whether you have someone who is interested in Filesync and Share from Acronis, given that there's OneDrive and Dropbox for Business. Anyone?
Nikolai, I think we should leave it as a demo at this point, and
yeah, I'm just curious because okay, doesn't matter. Okay, good. Sorry. So what else? We have physical data shipping. So which is a quite simple interface of tracking orders. I'm not sure I have sent anything to Acronis, but essentially when you do backup, you can specify that the first backup is going to be created on a physical medium, such as a hard drive, a USB drive, USB stick, something, and then you physically ship it to the data center of Acronis, and you track orders here. And the latest part, I think, we also have Notary. So Notary means electronic signature and notarization, that the file that you have with you has been notarized and has the same content as when you upload it first. So for example, there's something uploaded, and like this one, you have a signature certificate showing you that a specific number of people signed that document. Maybe I can just view it online. So a specific number of people signed the document, and the content of the document is authentic. There's also a PDF here, I guess, that will show you, people who signed it, right? That specific version of it. So that's notarization. And I forgot to mention something else. Yeah, I already mentioned the storage solution, the cyber infrastructure. So I was focusing on its backup capabilities. So you can use it as a cloud storage for backups of all your customers. It's available over the internet, and but also the same set of servers can be used for many, many purposes. So if you're a provider who provides backup and also hosting, you can use this same storage for reliable storage of files, this object storage. You can essentially compete with Amazon. Or you can provide NFS protocol, so it's typically for internal use, right? Some internal folder that you use for storing files, or you provide block storage. So essentially, you provide virtual disks that a server sees as if they were its local drives, C or D or E, but they are based outside of the server, and most importantly, they are as reliable as the other data that is stored here. Namely, if you lose part of that storage, you don't lose the data. The servers don't even notice. And our partners, for example, use that for storing some important information like databases, right? We have a telco who uses lots of transactional databases, and they need reliable disk for those databases to work with, so that they use Acronis cyber infrastructure for that. And of course, cyber infrastructure now with the newest version not only means storing data, it also means running virtual machines straight on those that set of servers, right? You have virtual machines here. They're highly available. Again, you lose a node, the machine instantly gets transferred to another node. The disks of those machines are stored reliably and spread over across the nodes. You lose a node, you don't lose the disk. So, and yeah, I guess, yeah, let's have this as an overview. And yeah, we agree to leave a couple of minutes for general discussion, maybe some questions, some use cases, you know, for this portal.
I have one on the cyber infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So on the cyber infrastructure, you know, we just talked about someone's ability, right, to basically spin up an environment at will, right? Would they also be able to do that here? If they had an ISO image, couldn't they technically just create a virtual machine from that ISO image and deploy it here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the purposes. You upload the ISO image. You can actually use that infrastructure as a getting back to your disaster recovery question. Actually, you can use that as a service provider as the disaster recovery storage as well.
Yeah, so what I could do is I could deploy the cyber infrastructure on a piece of hardware that I have locally. So call it a server I had laying around, and then that becomes my disaster recovery.
Exactly. Point. Yeah, you attach that ISO image, and remember you have that Acronis bootable medium, right? For bare metal recovery, you upload it here. You attach it to a machine, and then you recover any backup onto that VM, and that's your
perfect
disaster recovery.
Yeah, that's really easy.
Yeah, sure. And as I understand, we don't charge you as a service provider again for the compute. We only charge you for the amount of space that those VMs occupy. I mean, those disks. That's also a good point currently for the partners to get started with cyber infrastructure.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions? Yeah. So, Offer, I think that's it from my end. I'm sure the team has my email in the invitation. So, if there are any questions after the call, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer them.
That's great. Yeah, thank you very much, Nikolai, for your
thank you
on this. That was very, very informative and very good. All the people on the participant list now, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. I did get an answer for you, Michael, about which email the activation goes to for both platforms. Since we are going to deploy it next on Cloud Blue as well, for both platforms, it's being sent to the technical contact.
Technical contact, thank you very much.
No problem. So guys, if you don't have any other questions, this is an amazing solution that we worked on it between myself and Acronis for quite a while, trying to push it out to the public as much as possible. This is a great opportunity for you guys to onboard all the resellers that are currently onboarded on traditional side on the marketplace. and we will move, hopefully in the future, all the traditional business to the marketplace as well, as part of this deployment and migration. If you have any question whatsoever about anything related to the Acronis Cyber Cloud reseller level solution, feel free to contact me. I should be your focal point for any upcoming questions. Next, we are going with the global deployment, and you should expect to get, again, in Q1, hopefully the end customer connect solution as well. Last opportunity, if there is any question whatsoever, feel free.
Over this launches Q1, you said?
For which, for the end customer connect?
No, just for the ability for our the cloud marketplace.
Sorry, you were backing up. Can you repeat that?
For our partners to access the full product via the cloud marketplace.
This is available now.
Yep.
Starting of last week on the US marketplace. We'll go global in Q1, Q2 of next year.
Okay, thank you.
US marketplace was the first to receive this amazing solution, and you can start working with your resellers on this solution as soon as you want.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, guys?
No, I think that's it. Ofer, this is Maureen from the Acronis team here at Ingram. Thank you for the walkthrough, and as you mentioned, you're going to send the recording out as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. This was extremely elucidating, and we're all very excited to see it roll out on the marketplace.
Perfect. Really appreciate your efforts and time, guys. Thank you for the Acronis team on this call, and I will send the recording.
Thank you, everyone.
Shortly.
All right. Thanks, Ofer.
Thanks, Ofer.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time. Cheers. Bye.